Just in the nick of time, everybody. So I think we're there. Hello, everybody. It's Laura Eisenhower. Really quite thrilled and excited to be doing this event. Oh, hello, everybody. Yeah, it's always a little funky when you first go live. But anyway, yes. Hi, everybody. It's Laura Eisenhower. And I'm really thrilled to be hosting this most important event. Thank you, Adam, Seth, Rachel, and Amber for creating this with me. This is all inspired by Amber, who's going to be sharing after Adam and I and Seth do our thing. She is the true originator of this broadcast. So much love and appreciation for just coming up with this idea, especially in this full moon time. And Adam and I are going to talk about some of the aspects of what is currently going on astrologically. Then Seth is going to take us into a guided meditation. And then Amber's going to come on and share a bit and bring on a video that her friend Rachel did to really hold space for what's going on in Afghanistan. I mean, everything is about intention. And this gives us the chance to amplify the energies of our intention, especially, in this full moon period. And this is about mitigating the madness and really finding the higher octaves of these planetary alignments so that we're not being limited by them. I've talked a lot about the Saturn moon matrix and a lot of different things connected to the shadow sides of planetary energies that are kind of used against us so that we don't go through the initiations or connect with the higher qualities of what these planetary aspects represent. And that's where a lot of the propaganda and narratives, target people so that we're in the disempowered side of experiencing these aspects. And we're not going through the initiations. Instead, we're giving our power away. And it's time to call our power back. So thanks, everyone, for being here. So Adam and I, it's great that he's here with me in the physical, are going to discuss some of these aspects. The sun is going to be entering Virgo on Monday, and the full moon energy is in the last degrees of Aquarius. And that happens to be tomorrow. We're moving right into it right now. It's going to show up at around 5 a.m. Pacific time. And then, the sun entering, Virgo opposite Jupiter, which means it's conjunct this full moon. Very expansive energies going on right there. So we're going to hear what Adam's interpretations are. That we also have Mercury and Mars in Virgo. And I just want you to take it away, what your thoughts are, how you're interpreting these particular planetary aspects, and if there's any other aspects that you want to bring up. I know that, Pluto has been square, which means friction, with the asteroid Eris, which is the goddess of strife and conflict. So it's bringing up a lot of emotional stuff for people. That happened on Thursday, but just because something peaks at a certain time doesn't mean those energies don't carry over. We're still experiencing, these sort of things. And so welcome. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. We're about to go on a big road trip. We're going to Mount Shasta. I'm speaking at a conference there, and he's going to be a part of that. And you are on a book tour that I am really grateful to be a part of. So yes, share some words about yourself and what you're launching. And like the original question, what are your thoughts about these particular planetary aspects?
Thank you so much, Laura, for the introduction and for inviting me on this excellent program this evening. And so much to say. So my name is Adam Sánchez. I've been studying astrology since 2012 and practicing it professionally since 2017. I also am a yoga teacher, plant-based chef and healing alchemist, reversing so-called incurable diseases. And that's a big part of the tour, along with my book, which is called Ascending the Narcissism Through Sovereignty. There's some subtitles in there, but I'm just going to keep it that simple for now. And there's so much powerful energy happening now. And that's a big part of what the tour is about, is health freedom and teaching people to claim their sovereignty where it comes to health and healing. But that's not just, on a physical level. It's also mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual. and claiming our power, right? Reclaiming our power, not externalizing it anymore, reclaiming our inner authority, which has so much to do with the current aspects that we have. Saturn transiting Aquarius and Jupiter also in Aquarius, right? It's like rebelling against that system and those structures of the entrenched status quo and, you know, the conventional sort of suppression of the shadow patriarchy, right? So we have so many powerful aspects happening right now, as Laura mentioned before the video. You know, it's actually the second time we have a full moon in Aquarius, which is a rare event, right? It's the second time this year that we're having a full moon in Aquarius, and it happens to be conjunct Jupiter and opposite the sun in Leo. So this is a very powerful full moon, and we have other energies activating this as well. We have, as she mentioned, Mars and Mercury in Virgo, which is also trining Uranus in Taurus, which is just recently stationed to retrograde, now is currently retrograding. So that revolutionary energy of Uranus and Aquarius that Jupiter and Saturn are also combining with, right? It's now retrograde. So it's calling us to go within. Maybe we don't feel like the outside is showing us that revolutionary energy as much. And so we're called to task to embody that energy within ourselves and ask ourselves, how can we revolutionize our own life and possibly the collective's energy as well? And so we can see that a lot with the Mars action of drive and power and ambition, and then Mercury in the mind. So this, you know, we're getting downloads, we're getting extra impetus or extra drive or energy to make these powerful shifts, these revolutionary shifts in our own lives, in the world. We also have a very powerful aspect with Venus trining the North Node and sextiling the South Node. So Venus is currently in Libra, her home sign. So it's a great time for justice and balance and fairness, equanimity, right? Finding the peace inside of the chaos. And because she's trying the North Node in Gemini, there is something about the communication energy drawing us forward towards our destiny, right? Having to communicate in that Gemini way. But with the sextile to the South Node in Sagittarius, there's also something of closing up past life energy around, you know, the free-spirited, possibly dogmatic in its shadow version of Sagittarius energy, right? Where, you know, it's like, oh, I need to be right about this, and no, I'm right, you're wrong. And maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's more about the communication that can happen in Gemini. It's like, well, how do you view this? This is how I view this. Can we find a truth that bridges that gap so that we're not in this war of belief? Because that's really what we're dealing with these days, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the major stuff I'd like to talk about as far as the aspects. You know, there's so much that we could share, but that's the really powerful stuff. And then, you know, we do have Mercury will be opposing Neptune pretty soon. So we might also find ourselves connecting with the ethereal and the spiritual, yet at the same time finding a confusion in the midst of that, because things aren't very clear with Neptune in Pisces and that opposition with Mercury in its home sign. So expect a lot of powerful activations over the next few days.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing with Neptune is it connects us with multidimensional reality and our creative imagination. And so if our creative imagination is infected with propaganda and narratives or fear and anxiety, we're not really allowing ourselves to dream big. We might feel really limited, and what some people might deem impossible, we might think is impossible, and just continue to give our power away, when this time of awakening is to really tap into that and rewrite the script so it's more in harmony with our truth, so that we can manifest it into the physical plane. So Mercury and Mars is really helping us to ground. It's an earth sign. Virgo has a lot to do with physical well-being, the quality of our lifestyles, our physiology, and health-related matters. So a warrior energy is kicking in when we can be in the higher octave of Mercury, which is very much the magician. Can we have higher thought forms that allow us to navigate these times in a more empowered way? And Mars is really helping with that, because Mars has willpower and has fire, it has energy. And yeah, with the Uranus though, even though it's very much about the truth frequency, authenticity, it's having a difficult aspect with Saturn, and that's going to last until about 2023. And Saturn making a squared aspect to Uranus is like where we're seeing the tyranny, where we're seeing people feel the loss of freedoms, feeling that they don't have any other choice but to comply with outer authority, tyrannical authority, in order to keep up with a paycheck or the life that they used to know. We have to divorce ourselves from the old paradigm. This is a initiation and shift into something greater, where we have more trust in ourselves. We recognize that this is a time of reclaiming our lost treasures, so that instead of answering to authority, we're answering to what we're truly made of and getting closer to the planetary consciousness, so that we can find abundance outside of the system of dependency and control that manipulates us through fear. And these agendas go way back. So it's really important that we claim our personal truth. And it starts with just being real with yourself, not being afraid of the darker emotions that come up, which is very much the Pluto square Eris. Pluto's all about death, rebirth, alchemy, and transformation. But if we're afraid of death, we can't experience the transformation. We're kind of locked in the birth canal. We're not able to emerge because we're so afraid of where that journey takes us. When we can go through these death cycles and emerge much more clear and centered in the trueness of our divine blueprint and our galactic heritage, and also our divine birthright. So the Virgo energy, sometimes in the shadow elements of it, can make us overthink and worry to the point of maybe making ourselves sick. That's going to lower our immunity. Mars is going to help us to be pissed off enough to channel that energy, and same with the Pluto Eris thing, into just, I don't know, this greater acknowledgement of our creative potential. And I really feel that that ripples out to others, and it helps to activate them. If we can use this energy for the greater good, instead of conquer and divide, competition and hatred, and divide and conquer agendas. So we're always dealing with sort of the shadow side of what these astrological alignments hold. But if we can move ourselves into a higher frequency, then we begin to connect with the music of the spheres, and we begin to play beautiful music instead of this sort of frequency modulation distorted version, which is literally holding us hostage to the shadow side, to the point where instead of breathing through it and working through it, we ask somebody else to tell us what to do, or out of fear, we comply with an outer authority that tells us what to do. The highest octave of Saturn is self-mastery and becoming a teacher, but we have to go through the hurdles of false authority and tyrannical authority that literally is what enslaves us more than anything. You want to share anything?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so much gold in there, but I'll do my best to mine some of the nuggets. Absolutely, the inner authority is key. And, we also have this connection between Virgo and Gemini, because Mercury is the ruler of both, right? So we have this opportunity to get clear in our own minds, if we're able to find that balance, right, with Venus and Libra, and find the balance in our own mind to communicate what's true for us, and to be our own hero in our own life's journey with Mars conjunct Mercury, right? So it's time for us to each step up in our own individual lives and take charge for what's true for us, what we're committed to, what we're working towards. And there's so much potential with that. I also teach yoga, and I have since 2010. And in ancient yoga, astrology and yoga were one. They were connected, and they were a big part of the discipline and the understanding of our place in the world and our own soul's journey. And yoga teaches us about union, right? That's literally what yoga means. And so we can understand that we are connected to something greater, even if we can't see it, even if it's, ethereal and it's beyond just this physical realm. There is a higher power that guides us and guides our lives and our own life purpose. And that's what we're here for, right? That's what we came here to claim and reclaim from this externalization of our power and authority, giving our soul's journey away to this idea that we need to, please mommy and daddy government, or whatever externalization of that power we project, taking that back, because that's the old paradigm, and we're ready to move on from that and liberate ourselves into our divine sovereign self.
Absolutely. And, what happened in the last full moon with the conjunction with Pluto, making a squared aspect to Eris, that is really an opportunity to, cleanse the emotional body, which the moon really lights up. Cleanse the emotional body from the Saturn moon matrix programs. we might have a family history or childhood that does not give us a positive relationship to the mother, because the Saturn moon matrix is very much the patriarchy, the denial of the divine feminine, and the programmed masculine that isn't really being encouraged to get in touch with that place within oneself. So Pluto, because it's all about death, rebirth, alchemy, and transformation, a lot of that comes to the surface, whether that means a crisis shows up in your relationships or your family members, how you relate to outer authority or the mother-father principles. It gives us a chance to sort of revisit that and let go of what doesn't serve us so that we can emerge with the capacity to illuminate the divine blueprint of the integration of polarity of the masculine and feminine, the alchemical marriage that leads to the hierogamic union that is actually the building blocks behind how we upgrade and switch on dormant strands of DNA. So it's our task and priority to look at our relationship with ourselves. How well are these energies flowing? Because if they're not flowing well, it's going to lead to energetic blockages. And if anything's the root of disease, it's our denial of certain aspects of ourselves. If we're going to find wholeness, we need to recognize the full archetypal picture, harmonize them within ourselves so that we can generate victory over the war on consciousness, which ultimately has to be won within. So Pluto interacting with the moon, which happened on Thursday in the last full moon, the strife that kind of comes up or the emotional intensity that comes up is a grand opportunity to kind of reset and be spiritually mature enough to look at where your traumas and wounds are and where you might project or be victimized by these distortions and imbalanced relationships. Once we reconcile that within ourselves, then life reflects back to us the synchronicities that support closure in areas that might not be healthy and that might be toxic, and helps us to be inspired enough to embrace true love and this grand love story that is, to me, the ultimate. I mean, most fairy tales and most foundational energies behind certain movies has a lot to do with love and the separation, having to face the villain, kind of go through that underworld and then come out of it and reclaim that lost relationship that expands over multiple lifetimes to then really experience the happily ever after. So we have to divorce ourselves from the imposters, understand our true worth, not compromise ourselves, and just venture into the greater adventure of self-discovery to live the ultimate true love. And a lot of it for people is, maybe connecting with the Christ energy, or being willing to say goodbye to that job that wants you to do something against what your intuition is telling you, or to remain in situations that you know aren't healthy for you. On a ground level, especially with the assistance of Mars and Mercury being in Virgo, it's going to help people to really look at what's draining you, what's compromising you, what's harming you. If you can remove yourself from those situations, not only will your immunity be increased, but the synchronicities will show up to take you to the gift of what our higher self is guiding us towards, and what our intuition and higher guidance is wired to help us to discover. And we're in a time right now where intuition is being shut down. The survival chakra is being very amplified to the point where people can't hear their own thoughts or connect with their own internal guidance. So it's very important to give yourself a chance to have like a digital detox, step away from it all, find your breath, find your center, listen to your internal guidance. And a lot of times when it's being denied, it shows up in the body as pain and discomfort. But when those symptoms show up, instead of freaking out or just running to the medical industry, breathe into it, feel it, ask it, what are you here for? And when we really listen to it, we discover that it's a part of ourselves crying out for more unconditional love and attention and respect, instead of, oh, well, I'm screwed up, or I have an ailment, or something's wrong with me. I just posted a quote, one of my favorite quotes, that has to do with depression that is spiritually based is not because of brain dysfunction. It's because it's an accurate response to the desecration of life and all that's sacred. So we need to find more peace and understanding to those difficult places that emerge within ourselves, and not fear it, but love it and give it the attention it deserves. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I hope it.
Yeah, I mean, if I just might add just really quickly, I want to give plenty of space for the rest of the amazing presenters here today as well. I'm hearing, the power of us reclaiming our own integrity and the oneness within ourselves, right? That hierogamos union of the divine masculine, divine feminine. We each have our own yin and yang energies within ourselves, whether you're male embodied or female embodied. We both have both polarities within. And if we can actually do the presence work of just being with ourselves instead of feeling the need to outsource our authority or our love or our permission to live our life in the way that we feel called to, that's the transformational energy of Pluto that can help us to feel what we're feeling, to be who we are, and not need to get permission or get approval from the outside world. That doesn't mean that we're going to shut ourselves off or live in a vacuum. It means that we are reclaiming that love as a baseline within ourselves, and we're no longer subject to the need or the dependency or the codependency on, big daddy government or whatever, externalized authority we may find. The last thing that I want to say about all of this is, I heard a quote recently, I'm kind of like paraphrasing basically, but it's like, the spiritual beginner wants to change the world. The spiritual master seeks only to change themselves. And so if we can really do that for ourselves, the world will follow suit. And if we can really claim our own authority and power and realize that no one has the right to tell us what to put in our bodies, what to feel, what to think, that's all we really need.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we need to stand our ground and not fear death. And I mean, that's where transformation comes from, is not fearing death, but also honoring the times that fear does come up, because fear does inform us. Fear does have its place, but without looking at the broader picture and the alchemy behind it all, then one can get very stuck. So even if we've had bad diets or we've been inhaling, things because we've been sprayed and all these, different dark agendas that might make us feel like, wow, okay, we're kind of screwed here. The frequency of love beyond just heart chakra, fourth chakra love, but like higher universal love that connects us with cosmic and natural law, that also is reassured and in recognition of the fact that the sun started to move through the 13th sign of Fiacus as of 2010, that there's this ether energy, the substance of ether energy that helps us to literally purify the nucleic acids of our DNA, which are elemental: earth, air, fire, water, ether. Ether is connected to the mitochondria. And as far as how the mitochondrial DNA connects to a planetary body, from my research and what I've discovered, is the ether energy represented by the 13th sign of Fiacus is connected to Chiron, the wounded healer. If we can be honest about our wounds and our traumas and hold space for a transformation to occur by being transparent enough to notice when something comes up, instead of using that as a weapon against one another or acting out or blaming somebody or being victimized, this element of ether can really come in and turn the wounds into crystals and jewels and diamonds. And we see this occurring in nature, and nature is the greatest teacher of how certain pressures take place, or certain what might seem to be a difficult circumstance to take place to actually produce some of the most beautiful things. So we have to recognize that reality is fluid. We are co-creating this. We are artists of the elements. The avatar consciousness understands this. That's why when we reach a level of self-mastery, we can begin to remember that we can materialize things. we can begin to come in and out of the physical plane based on our own intention and willpower, instead of recycling constantly in this holographic time loop, which literally encourages us to stay stuck in patterns, or to put a Band-Aid on those patterns that are difficult through, addictive tendencies, whether that's materialism, whether it's emotional eating, whether it's drugs or alcohol. I mean, whatever it is, that we can breathe through that and look at it for what it is, and find a natural vibration of bliss that is the true state of being that is available to us. But the thing is, it's hard to just be in the state of bliss when you're empathic, or, certain missions aren't able to fully hold it, because we feel so much pain and suffering. But if we can at least give ourselves permission to hold this, we can be reminded that that level of energy that goes into the collective consciousness is probably the best gift that we can give. Instead of burning ourselves out trying to heal and save everyone, let's just be the example by reclaiming our lost treasures, and still lending a helping hand without it taking away from the joy and bliss that can become our reality in every moment, with the acknowledgement of the dark. To me, it's about maintenance, energetic maintenance. And it's kind of redundant that I say this, but you can see when a kitchen or a bathroom is dirty or needs cleaning before you create the next meal. We need spiritual hygiene. We need to make sure our mental bodies are not taking on too much accumulation of BS or lies and deceptions. We need to check ourselves on every level of our elemental bodies, so that the fullness of earth, air, fire, water, ether is able to circulate an energetic flow that keeps us clear and pure, and in high integrity and compassion to help those that are really lost in these times, without the conquer and divide of, oh, you chose this, so therefore we can't hang out anymore. We're better than that. That's what a lot of people around us are encouraged to feel and think. And they might break away and not want to hang out with us anymore. But as long as love is there, it doesn't matter what people are deciding. But as long as it's not there, we need to give ourselves permission to have boundaries, and protect our space, so that we can integrate these light codes and these ascension signals and build our auric field, so that it can literally neutralize the dark weaponry and toxicity that's being thrown at us. And it starts with the mind control. It starts with the manipulation of belief systems. So choose your truth frequency, write your own script, be creative, and stay inspired to be creative. And let's build community and just have fun. Sorry, I know that was a little long, but and any final thoughts before we move on to Seth?
I'm complete. Thank you. That's amazing.
Oh, well, cool. Sometimes it's hard to articulate anything, but
I like the space between the words sometimes. It's good to have space.
well, I usually talk really fast. So the fact that I even have a pause, that's a good sign. I was going to introduce myself as Laura Kreisenschauer and be like, oh, whoops, Laura Eisenhower. But anyway, so grateful for my dear friend, Seth Pruzansky. We are collaborating a lot. We're sharing a YouTube channel, and it's called Elevating Community. Man, Seth has been through just every possible adversity that you can think of. And he is just such a bright light, and he shines so much wisdom, and he's going to guide us into meditation, and then we'll bring Amber on. But Seth, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for being such an incredible friend. And yeah, share a few words about yourself. You were in prison for a couple of years. You got through some of the most gnarly addiction with heroin and meth, I think. I mean, I don't want to speak for you. I know you openly talk about it, or else, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, of course. Oh no, I wrote a book,
so,
and I put it out there.
And he's written an incredible book. So I know you're already out in the open with those things.
First of all, thank you,
Tell us
Laura
about yourself.
and Amber, for facilitating this, and Adam, nice to meet you and be able to interact here together. And I love this because we have come into a time of such great intensity. And if you're addicted to the surface appearance of the way things look, it can really pull you in, and it can seem so real and just get the best of you. But when you just calm down, you just breathe, and you just kind of, instead of looking at the surface of the way things appear, you find that your gaze softens, your ability to see things, see through things increases, and then you're less and less afraid or attached to any kind of outcome or anything, because you realize that the exact thing that is causing the heart to beat, this invisible, non-physical, although it very much becomes visible at a certain point, and it very much is physical. It's just that in our indoctrinated, conditioned state of being that most of us have become addicted to, it becomes hard to perceive what might seem like subtler frequencies that are emanating from every single system of our body out into the field around us. But it's really just a matter of, like you said, Laura, and Adam, you said it too, it's this ability to love, this willingness to love, but not in a way where it's dependent upon somebody or something to cause that love. It's literally about realizing, and I try to speak in words that are very, very simple here, because this actually is very simple. It's just we've allowed the complexities of everything that have gone on to kind of take us on this roller coaster. But just as we've been witnessing, right, the power of modern technology on this planet, what humans have done with artificial technology, it's scary, it's awesome, you can see all this amazing potential in it. But what nobody has really helped us to become aware of is this organic technology, you could refer to it, that is our human being, that is our human consciousness. And the more we begin to just redirect that conditioned, indoctrinated mind that has temporarily identified with external things and made those external things more important than the internal things that are allowing us to even perceive in the first place, well, we're going to get a little bit unbalanced. And if there was ever a time to really consider that, I like it like this, there's one conspiracy that rises above and beyond all others, and that is the universe or God or the divine, whatever you want to call it, is at all times conspiring to bring us through or into situations that will offer us the greatest opportunity to expand and grow beyond the limitations that we currently experience. So with that said, let's experience this stuff, because that's what it comes right down to. We can literally develop love as a skill. We can get so good at knowing it and feeling it and being consciously aligned with it to the degree that we can turn it up to different modulated frequencies that are so profound that tears of joy will just burst through your eyes. And I have been in the most insane situations ever, and I've watched this just neutralize everything. And it isn't me, it isn't any one of us, it's all of us. And the same energy that's causing my heart to beat is causing your hearts to beat, and it's causing everybody on this planet to exist. It's the same energy. And this unbelievable ecosystem beneath our feet that we've abused and not shown respect the way we're capable of, it too is connected by this same energy. The solar system, the galaxy, the universe, beyond. And it is a living, breathing consciousness that is alive through us, even though we're seemingly having this separated kind of dualistic identification with things as they temporarily are, instead of how they truly infinitely are. So, all right, I want everybody to just relax. Just totally relax your body. start to breathe rhythmically. It's like Laura said, it's a song, this beautiful life in us, this force, this energy that we truly are. It's very rhythmic, hence the beat of the heart. So when you breathe rhythmically, deep, slow, rhythmic breathing, while feeling joy through your heart, feeling joy for no reason at all other than you are choosing to feel it. And you start breathing like this while feeling this come up. And the deeper you breathe, the more calm you get to a point where the body will start to go to sleep. And we're so used to allowing our mind to go to sleep with it, but we can get really skilled at keeping the mind awake while the body still goes to sleep. And when we do that, which is nothing more than just a habit of practicing it, suddenly we become conscious of these in-between states that were always there inside of us, but that we just didn't know of. We were never taught to become aware of them as they are, and so we just miss them. But as the body begins to go to sleep, and you keep the mind awake, you suddenly enter into a space where it's your consciousness in this current incarnation as it is, but it isn't impeded with all of the baggage or the conditioning or the stuff that we have carried with us up till this point, whether it's in this life, whether it's generational, whether it's countless other lives. It really doesn't matter, because the more you just bring yourself into this state of calm where the body's almost asleep, you're breathing, then you can begin to feel your pulse, your heart rate. And when you begin to feel your heart beating, you calm down even more. You relax any tension that you're holding in your body. Just totally let it all go. It's just all about the breath, even rhythmic breaths, inhales and exhales, while loving the fact that you have this opportunity to even do this. And when you are in this state of calm and you realize that it is a true miracle that you get to even exist in this body at all, then the part of you that feels disconnected or stuck or not in alignment with the potential that you truly are begins to feel guidance, calling it back to where it came from. And it's essentially, it's the heart, it's the field of the heart. It's with every time the pulse of the heart beats, it's sending a wave of frequency out into infinity. And when we start to attune who we believe ourselves to be with that, in this calm, centered, coherent state of being, then we begin to feel that who and what we are does not begin and end with our body or our skin. We are literally animating these vessels. We are a source of energy, of frequency, of perfect geomagnetic electric phenomenon that goes beyond even the ability to articulate it in the most basic of terms. It is what we are. And when we start to love the fact that this is the energy that is causing the heart to beat, and we choose to love that energy with our wounded, beat up, carrying along the baggage, when we choose to love it and just keep loving it over and over and over, it eventually becomes conscious that we are conscious, that it is functioning within us. And when that begins to happen when you first start to feel the presence of what it is you truly are, who you are starts to become attuned to what you are in a way where this expansion that both Adam and Laura mentioned starts to just, it's already there. It's already happening. And when you, with every beat of the heart, your awareness is able to just go out in it, with it, you begin to feel the unlimited aspects of our own emotional sensitivities. Now, going through this life, we've all been desensitized, right? Our perceptual centers have been blunted a little bit. They've taken a few hard knocks, and that's okay. It's all right, because by getting into this really, really calm state of being, by breathing rhythmically and feeling that pulse of life, and getting the body so that it is so calm that you can then feel your pulse anywhere that you focus on, then you can focus on these dormant perceptual energy centers that are wired in every single human being alive. And I'm saying it like that because when you really consider it, there is nothing but this. And the fact that we temporarily get distracted by all these things that seem like they're going on is part of the cosmic play and the growth process that is trying to teach us to rise above, not by bypassing, but by overriding all of the effects and negativity and influence that we have unconsciously consented to allowing into our being. And we can override it because the truth of it is that the organic technology that is our consciousness is so much more powerful than all of the artificial technology that has ever existed anywhere in the face of this universe. And every living human being has a pineal gland, a pituitary gland, a thymus gland, a thalamus gland, adrenal glands. We have all of these profound bodily physiology and anatomy, bodily parts that when we focus on them and we feel that pulse of our heart in those specific areas of our body, it activates the innate and inherent intelligence that is already there, and it starts to come online. And I'm not talking about the World Wide Web, I'm talking about the universal web of life. And when you really, really allow yourself to become attuned to that by becoming conscious of the internal aspects of this body, feeling your pulse in your pituitary gland, in your pineal gland, in your thalamus gland, when you start to feel your pulse in it and you're breathing with it and you're loving life, even though everybody and everything around you kind of saying you shouldn't or you should be afraid, you're choosing to love it because you are beginning to feel something that is so much more powerful than all of the fear projections and everything that is seemingly so addictive. And when you feel that even just a little bit and you realize that it's feeling you back, then this beautiful relationships begins to form where the part of you that feels disconnected starts to reconnect to the part of you that has always been there, to remind you that you never actually were disconnected. So as you breathe, okay, and we could obviously go into a lot of different centers and just really focus on activating all of these, but how much time do we have for this, Amber? Just to ask you.
I would say as much time as you like to take. You're doing great.
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that everybody's really
Yeah.
getting, because no matter what we think this is what we eventually come face to face with. And this is the big thing. Like, everybody's so caught up in living their life, being who they think they are, but almost all of who we think we are wasn't really ours to begin with. It was just all learned behavior. And in that learned behavior, we were never really taught to embrace death. We're taught to fear death. We're also taught to fear life. So if we're afraid to live and we're afraid to die, where's there room for possibility and love and expansion? And so you kind of have to see the joke in all of that and find it within you to be like, yeah, I'm not going to let that get in the way. You could have a million militants yelling at you, threatening with guns. You could have, big, they call them world leaders, with their fingers on nukes, ready to just blow the whole thing up. And you don't care, because you know that within you is something, a living electrical field that is causing the heart to beat, that when you focus on it and you begin to feel how interconnected with infinity this body was designed to be, and in fact amplify what infinity could be or is beyond comprehension, to amplify the potential of infinity within this very body. And this is something that you experience. It's something that you feel. And to give an analogy, just so people know, because as whether we're empaths or whatever, no labels, none of that, but whether we have the ability, whether our sensitivities are more intact or less intact than others, it really makes no difference, because we all have these sensitivities within us. They just haven't been activated because we never knew how to activate them. But that's all changing now, because we, each one of us individually, are self-starters if we choose to be. And when we choose to prioritize engaging in this inner alchemical transformation of literally taking the limited aspects of who we believe ourselves to be and entraining them with the unlimited aspects of what it is we truly are, the life force causing our heart to beat, that's uniting all the systems of our body. Oh my God, it feels like the best feeling you've ever had times infinity. And what I mean by that is, when these sensitivities that have been shut down in most of us, or they're just not working nearly at peak capacity compared to what they have the potential to, when they start to become ignited by the individual consciously remembering the magnificence, literally the love. And what I mean by love is, think about, we came into this world, okay, through an orgasm. And don't take this in a sexual way. Try not to look at this as that, but think about how we came into this world as a result of this orgasmic, blissful feeling. And people delegate that to meaning a certain thing or interacting with our body or with others in a certain way. And we've got the whole procreation thing down, and we understand that, but there's an internal aspect to our sexuality, and it is not confined to just our genitals. This innate intelligence that I was saying is inherent in every gland and every organ and all the systems of our body, can be turned on simply by getting into these calm states, choosing to be grateful for no reason at all, and calming yourself down enough to begin to start feeling your own pulse and knowing where these glands are. And when you can feel your heart beating inside the glands and different sections of your brain, you can feel it literally in the different aspects, the different chambers of the heart, you realize that the human body is filled head to toe with what we could call stargates. I mean, I don't know what else to call them, but they are literally points of imperceptible potency that are directly aligned to the star systems that surround all of us. And when we begin to activate that within ourselves, these living systems that are below and above us know that we are doing it, and they come in to assist in the process. And it isn't imagination, it is the tangible feeling of being so deeply in love with what it is that is allowing us to exist here, that you know that all the crazy things and the madness and all the stuff that's happening, it doesn't stand a chance. In fact, it's already being withered away, because this is all there is times infinity and more, to the degree that when we begin to illuminate and ignite these aspects of our body that have become conditioned to living in a world that doesn't help us ignite that. But when we do, and these other star systems start to support our efforts, this earth creates a massive coherent field. And when you consciously create this kind of coherence within yourself, you are supported by the fields of these great living beings that are below and above us. And just as we are communicating with one another right now, so too do they communicate with us, through us, in a way that is beyond language, but in a way that we totally get. It just knows. And so the more we interact with ourselves in this way and these other celestial and bodies, the more the amplitude of the neural networks within our body become increased to the degree that we can start to be able to receive and transmit greater charges of what this frequency potential represents. And again, it feels like the best feeling you've ever felt times infinity. You can begin to feel that from head to toe. You can feel it in other beings. If you see pain and suffering in the world around you, you can feel this, and that will be affected by it. We have power in us that is gifted to us, that we cannot abuse, because the only way we have access to it is by becoming in full integrity and alignment with it. And when we do, oh my God, will we mitigate all the madness? And here's the other thing that I just want to convey. When people come together, when us beings get together, and there's an unspoken agreement that we don't care what kind of baggage the other is carrying. We've already agreed that we love each other unconditionally, and that we are going to allow space that is holding us to bring that through and hold that space for each other in a way that exemplifies the potential of what that can represent in our own personal and collective evolutionary development. And when enough of us start coming together and we do this, and we link heart to heart, the field that is generated just by our heart alone is exponential. It truly is exponential. And I know I watched it. I watched the most evil things you could imagine. And I stayed in this. I just trusted it more. There's nothing left for me but to love the life within me. And not only did it deliver me through the absolute chaos that I was temporarily being subjected to, and not only did it neutralize the severity of those who were intending to inflict ill will and evil upon me in that circumstance, but it caused them to feel a part of themselves that they didn't even know was there. And it brought them into tears of joy, of gratitude, and to the degree that these men are changed. This happened years ago. They have gone on. They don't understand it, but they know it's real because they feel it. And all they know is that they just want to be in these states and live in this world with integrity, whether that means having to just convey, to build tight friendships and relationships and communities with people that they might not seem like your people, but guess what? We share a lot more in common with everybody than we do apart. And again, this is experiential, it's feeling. So the more we condition ourselves to feel what we are capable of feeling by activating these dormant perceptual centers and allowing these sensitivities that have kind of been blunted to just come back, then we begin to feel the power that is literally residing within our own consciousness. And it causes these glands to begin to open up like stargates. And in doing that, we become conscious of the divine nature, you could call it, of the divine electricity is a better word for it, of what we actually are. And when we start coming into that, then all of these star systems and everything become conscious that we're doing it, and they come into it. And you know, okay, you more than know, you feel, you are, not only do you know, you are in love with the fact that you know something so much greater than the limited aspect of you is what you really are. And you're wise enough in your human form to not even be attached to even thinking you know anything about that. It's this beautiful, sweet spot of just totally letting go and choosing to self-illuminate from the inside out, which we all have the ability to do. And it's way more simple than we've ever been, than we can even imagine. It really is just as simple as breathing rhythmically, smiling internally through your heart. SMILE is a great acronym for Start My Internal Love Engine. And when you start to love the pulse of life that is causing your heart to beat, it becomes conscious that you are conscious of it. And it says, oh my God, you actually are choosing to love me of your own free will. I want to love you back. And when you feel what that's like for that to love you back, you are so excited, you're so stoked, and you're just so not gonna go to the places that so many people are stuck in, because it's actually not really that real compared to what is truly real, that everybody will face at their last breath. And so why not integrate that now, here, into these bodies that were designed just for that? And we will override all of the things that seem like they're trying to get the best of us. Me personally, I feel like they're actually just trying to teach us how to do something kind of like what I've been giving voice to tonight. But regardless of what you believe, there's an invisible field of energy that's causing your heart to beat. And when you breathe rhythmically and you choose to love it, it will love you back. And the more you keep doing that, the greater that love, okay, I call it love, it's because I don't know what else to call it, but the more that incomprehensible, divine, perfect, geometrically formed, orgasmic, electricity starts to ignite itself through all the systems of your body, and you consciously bridge the conscious and unconscious aspects of your own being, all of the pain and trauma and everything that has ever been connected with you or your ancestors begins to purge out really fast, because it has no place to live in a being that is choosing to light themselves up from the inside out, and then become supported by the coherent forces of the universe. This is what we are. It is what we have always been. And there is not a single bit of anything that can take that from us. The only thing that stands in the way of us living in such a way where we are this connected to what it is that we truly are, and that what we truly are begins to influence who we are in this life, is ourselves. It's the only thing in the way, is our conditioned self. And all that is a habit that we unconsciously consented to learning. And now that we are realizing that we have unconsciously consented to learning a bunch of stuff that we don't actually want or need or care about, or it's not even relevant to the infinite frequency that we truly are, then we're just going to create a new habit of doing everything that I said. And we just keep doing it and doing it and doing it over and over and over and over until it overrides all of the conditioning, all of the institutionalization, all of the belief systems, until it overrides everything and you come face to face with the source of energy that is allowing you to exist in a way where you are feeling the exact opposite of fear. You are just wide open and ready for whatever it wants you to learn next. You become its humble, loving servant, and you become fearless. You are not afraid of anybody or anything. And you, as a result of doing the work, get the attitude to match how you feel. And when you go out in the world and you go around authority and you hold this no matter what, they change. They can't deny it. They can't ignore it. And if we start getting as many people as possible doing this on a regular basis, this is all going to change in a way that most of us want or envision or know to be possible. And it will change in that way quicker than we can even think or imagine. We just got to do this work and align our hearts with each other and know that we are so strong. And if we need to be fierce and we need to be warriors, it knows how to do all that. If we need to be gentle and loving and sweet, it has all bases covered. All we need to do is just give our attention to it. And then it, at some point, if it sees that we're dedicated enough, we're devotional enough, it will start giving its attention back to us. And when that happens the first time, I promise you guys, you're not going to want to watch Netflix or anything else ever again, because this is way more interesting. So there's my piece.
That was great. There's so many gold nuggets there. Is Laura around? Should I take it from here?
Hey, Seth, that was amazing. That was so amazing. And yes, of course I'm here. And I know I just mentioned your name, Amber, but let me give the full name, everybody. It's Amber Jean Wheeler-Dwight. And she is the reason that we're all gathering. And she's one of the coolest women I've ever known. And her children are just, I swear I live for like her posts. Sharing pictures of her children. I love the one of her birthday and her little face. I could keep going up. But yeah, so she is why we created this. And it's not like those ideas aren't there already, but I mean, she really made sure this happened, and I so appreciate her. And she's bringing a lot of incredible stuff to the collective and some of the projects she has going on. And maybe not anything to mention just yet. That's up to her. But tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you're going to do a share screen with a beautiful meditation from your friend Rachel. So I'm going to kind of hand it over to you. You're already a co-host, so, but I love you and thank you, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you so much for putting this all together too. I couldn't have done this without you for sure. Thank you so much. And thank you, Seth and Adam, for being here. That was so great. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. I homeschool my 4 kids. I write for Stillness in the Storm. If you guys want to go over there and check them out, sign up for their email. They're great people. And I'm a published author. I have my own children's book. It's actually based on doodles that I did of my own son, photos of my son when he was a baby. And Gerber actually picked me up from that. So I did some work for Gerber. But yeah, so we're here doing this. And thank you all for being here. One of the things Laura mentioned was about being a teacher. And I feel like once we all get to a certain point, we just can't help but share this information with the world. So I just want to thank you all so much for being here and for doing that. That's so wonderful. I know that's a really hard thing to do, living in your truth. And there's so much as above, so below that you guys mentioned, all the things happening in the world. It's like it's all happening in our personal lives too. I know I felt a lot of that in the last few days, a lot of the things that you said with emotional body cleansing and, you know, the spiritual maturity and versus like victimization and the reconciliation of that. And then the source always conspiring in your favor. You said something, Seth, that just, I say that all the time, that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, always working to give you the things that you want and need in life. And tears of joy in particular and gratefulness, I feel like are a real foundation for manifestation. I feel like everything that I've been given in life, I feel like my whole life was just manifested in this way, because I cry all the time. I'm an emotional person. I just get so blissed out and they just flow and I can't help it. And I really feel like that surrender and that knowing, that trust in the universe is like a fundamental aspect of manifesting, especially in this time of just insanity, just going within and trusting that and knowing that things will work out because we are in charge and we are the power is just invaluable. And putting our differences aside and moving forward in love, you know, so because we've all been affected by psyops. So coming together for freedom and sovereignty is really important in this time. And, you know, the law of attraction is like a mirror for the universe. So standing in our own sovereignty will be reflected. And so it's just also important. And thank you all for doing this. It's been so great. And if I can screen share now, I'll show my friend Rachel. Oh, I do also want to mention my husband does Piramana Ormus. That's him. And he does such an amazing job. He's the brains between all of us. And the things Laura mentioned, we will be having more announcements come November. So keep an eye on things. There's like, it is so broad in its scope that I can't even begin to go over it here. But so just keep an eye on, I don't know how much I can say, but keep an eye on things. Okay, so we can go into screen share now. Let me see. Is it working? Can you guys see that?
Yeah,
Okay.
looks like it works here.
Okay. So this is my friend Rachel on TikTok. She goes under Transcendental Frequency. You can go and follow her. She does a lot of energy work. That's her specialty, is energy work and clearing and things like that. And her and I were best friends, have been best friends since high school. We went to high school in Germany, and her family has been military her whole life. That was only move for me for the military. But so her whole family was affected by the war on terror. And so she wanted to put this together, and I felt like it was a great opportunity to share it with as many people as possible. So if you could all share along.
Hey y'all, so today we're going to do a quick meditation for peace in Afghanistan. Now, obviously we don't know exactly what's going on. There's a lot of narratives going on right now. So all we can really do is visualize the highest timeline, right? So that's what we're going to do today. So go ahead and pause this video if you need to clear and ground for a second, and we'll be back with that. Okay. All right. So I want you to imagine Afghanistan. If you don't know the shape, think of the word. Intention is what matters here. I want you to imagine source light coming down from above. God light, whatever you believe in, this golden, healing, harmonious light cascading down from above, surrounding Afghanistan. Have that visualization down. I want you to either repeat after me or radiate these words. Peace and harmony radiates through the entire universe, realigning Earth to the highest vibration. Peace and harmony prevails overall and ushers Afghanistan to the highest. All exists in harmony, and peace rules the worlds. Peace for all, love for all, safety for all. Peace for Afghanistan. Now, when the time is right, feels right to you, I want you to have all that light come down into Afghanistan and have Afghanistan just suck that light up. Seal it in, transforming it. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Hey y'all.
Okay. Short and sweet. Now I just have to figure out to get off screen share. Stop share. There we go. All right. Well, thank you all so much. She's been really affected by this, so it really means a lot to me that you guys could take part in that along with us, for being here.
Thank you, Amber and Rachel. So, hey, you guys. I don't know if anybody wants to, share some questions in the chat, or if we want to continue for a little bit longer. I just know that we're building community and we're together in this, and we're going to thrive because this is what it's all about. We're not buying into the divide and conquer. We are really just, showing up and acknowledging each other in a really beautiful way. And I'm glad that we can listen to this again. And I think it's a really good thing to, play this back and really absorb the energies and feel like a reassurance. Sometimes we look to leaders or somebody outside of ourselves. And I know a lot of people had faith in the T guy. And I'm not saying that he's not a cool dude and he's not supporting what the spirit of the Patriots were all about, but just to protect ourselves, let's have confidence in the fact that we have each other and we are all leaders in our own right, maybe in different forms of leadership, whether it's behind the scenes, whether it's, having a microphone, whether it's this or that we are an incredible team. And to me, this is the true powers that be: Mother Earth and the divine blueprint of the cosmic Trinity, Mother, Father, Christ, Sophia, divine blueprint is the true powers that be. Everything else that might have power, it's all stolen. It's all stolen power. It's been harvesting our life force. It's been using the innocence of children to supplement where they have lost connection to true source. And people like us, we never back down, and we've stayed true. to our connection with true source and the processes that are very difficult at times to continue to transform and step up in the greatest of ways. And let's continue to amplify this vibration and essence of community and do more of this together. Because that to me is what's going to win this war. Ultimately, we have to win the war within ourselves. But once we grasp that and find our sovereignty, then unity consciousness is so much better and more fulfilling, because we're not just following some group mind thought form or giving our power away to somebody else to like fix it for us. We're reminding each other that we have everything we could possibly need within ourselves. And the collective energy field that we create when we merge amplifies it even more, because we're in our truth frequency, but we stand for unity consciousness. And so this is what's been so wonderful about this. Any thoughts you want to share, Amber, in response to that, and Adam and Seth or anybody? And I know we'll close, but there's more to come, but anything you want to share?
I'm so grateful to be a part of this brilliant think tank, if you want to call it that, or spiritual, think tank, and really honored. So thank you so much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to be a part of this community, because I feel that is our greatest strength. It's like the ants working together, they can do anything. It's the same with humans as well, but that's something that I think we've lost touch with until now. I think that's the blessing inside of the apparent curse, if you might say, of like the current stage on the world, is that it's reminding us that we have this power and it's time for us to claim it.
Oh, totally. And I haven't invited you into any community. You are the community, and you have spearheaded so much and made so many of us feel like safe, and you give permission for people to be themselves. And and he's sitting with me in person, and we're about to go on a huge road trip, and
So excited.
and we'll be sharing more about that. Amber and Seth, any final thoughts? Or if anybody who is in the chat here, there's some participants who have shown up in the Zoom meeting. If you guys want to just share a few words, maybe just raise your hand and
That'd be great.
share whatever you want. But yeah, Seth and Amber, any final closing thoughts? And anybody else, if you see the little feature where you can raise your hand. And if you can't see the feature, just take your camera off and just raise your hand. And if you have any final thoughts, you guys.
So yeah, absolutely. We're so used to looking to others for guidance, right? It's the natural thing. As children, we're taught like, okay, listen to what the teacher says, or mom and dad. And so we do that naturally, but we haven't really been taught how to let life be the one we look to guidance for. And that is an internal process. It's exactly what I was saying tonight. And so I'm saying this is in the sense, like, if you're going through it, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling depressed, don't underestimate your power to rise above it really quickly, because the same thing in me is the same thing in you. And when we trust this as the source of information that is going to help guide our life in a way that is best suited to our best outcome, it will. Might take a couple times, might take a little bit of like really proving to it or yourself, whatever you want to look at it, that you're ready to make this kind of commitment. But when you become of the devotional mindset to the source of energy that allows you to even be conscious in the first place, it at some point pays attention that you're paying attention to it. And when it starts to feed you frequency and information, and you feel it in you, and you feel your field getting brighter and stronger, and your anxiety diminishing, your depression diminishing, because you're feeling so excited that you're alive, you're on the right track. And then you don't care what really anybody says, unless they're in alignment with you and you're having a beautiful reciprocal conversation. But you just care. You care, and nobody can take that away from you. and the universe sees that. So listen to your heart, let it guide you, let it teach you. You, the force in you, is the greatest teacher and source of information that we could ever have access to. All we got to do is pay attention to it. So that's my piece. Second piece.
Boom. You got nothing but amazing pieces to share. And thank you, Amber, so much for just inspiring this incredible time together.
Aw, thank you all for being here. You mentioned community. We have Camp D coming up in a week, Camp Disclosure. I've been working for the last year helping to plan it. So thank you so much for giving us this chance. And for the round table too. That was so awesome for that. And to have that go up on YouTube too. That's exciting.
Is that Tyler over there?
Yes. That's Tyler creeping around.
Hey, Tyler. Awesome, you guys. So I guess it's time to close. Nobody has any hands up. I hope everybody's feeling really good, and let's just generate a feeling of happiness and goodness. And when it doesn't feel so happy, let's just give unconditional love to those difficult places within ourselves and with each other, and be as real with each other as we can be, so that we're not perpetuating negative patterns from ancestors, family lines, or the programmings that society throws at us and all the distortions. We're stronger and better than that, and we have each other's back, and we're going to hold hands together and be a united field and rock this freaking world.
That's it. I'll add one more thing into what you said, because it can be really helpful for people. It helped me a lot. But when you see negative things, or people are negative or whatever, and they're projecting their stuff on you, our normal reaction is to be defensive. And it's just been happening our whole lives since we were kids. But when you realize that, okay, this is the habitual way of how I do things, and you say, okay, somebody's being negative, something's gonna, or whether it's a person or a place, and they're projecting negativity, and you tend to react. Instead of reacting, you make a mental note that you're going to do the opposite. So when something really dramatic or intense happens, you relax even more. Like, oh my God, the whole world, they're going to vaccinate everyone. Oh, you relax even more. And if you keep doing this, when things heat up, the more they heat up, and the more you consequently relax as a result of it heating up, oh my God.
Brilliantly put. I mean, and I'd like to say this redundantly, we turn the weapons into tools for our greater growth and awareness and awakening. Anything that tries to assault us is a reminder of how powerful we are. And in the face of those weapons, we can turn it and transmute it into a tool for growth. And we de-weaponize it through our consciousness.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody. It's been so wonderful. And I look forward to next time when we come together and create. And Seth, I'm looking forward to all that we're going to do together in our shared channel. And Adam and I will keep everybody posted about our adventures. And I hope you guys do the same. And
yeah,
sending so much love. It's been
Thank
really
you.
awesome.
You too. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Sending
you
you guys the best, and see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Awesome.
Blessings.
All right. Bye.
Have so much fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.